Hey legends, and welcome back to the channel where we finally get to say nice things about rFactor 2 again. Today, Studio 397 dropped an update that many of us have been waiting for about a year, the GTE balance of performance. Along with this, they've given us a new version of the legendary Silverstone circuit, including some historical variants, with updated materials to coincide with recent updates to the graphics engine, and a brand new free track in the form of Portland International. While I'm not too familiar with the latter, we're going to delve into it in our next video as a test bed for the GTE cars. Speaking of which, to those who don't know, around about a year ago the GTE cars received a balance of performance update to coincide with that year's 24 Hours of Le Mans race. The resulting changes essentially broke the class, making the GTEs effectively interchangeable with GT3s from a performance standpoint. The community was ablaze with people wanting the changes undone for a long time, and now we finally have the developer's answer. Along with all the rFactor fanboys, I've got my fingers crossed that this is going to be the solution we were waiting for. Before we get into that, however, we're going to take a look at the new version of Silverstone and compare it directly with the old. I was intending to cover all the new content in a single video, but it ended up being way too long, so we'll break it up. Silverstone today, GTEs in Portland tomorrow. So be sure to smash that sub in order to keep up as we continue to explore the new rFactor content in future videos. Without further ado, let's check out Silverstone. First up we have old Silverstone right here, and aren't you glad that I thought ahead? So this is actually recorded quite a few weeks ago because I knew the new materials were coming, and I knew this would come in handy. So here we are in the pits. Make special note of the way everything looks, the detail or lack thereof as we progress on. This is definitely some of the mid-era content of rFactor, not the most accurate stuff in the world, certainly not quite as, Spartan as the release level stuff, but certainly early, mid-level ISI content. So fairly sparse on the details. You can see they're not using the new materials. Pretty much just an excuse to get the track geometry there. Doesn't quite resemble what you're likely to see in a game like ACC with a laser scan Silverstone. Coming down here you can see the lack of the actual meter boards on the side. Curbing isn't quite one-to-one with what you might expect. But the track geometry is pretty decent. I mean, this is the version of the track that got me to learn Silverstone in this nice Totus Formula 3 equivalent car. So one thing I always found kind of, different about this version of the track to others is Maggots and Beckett's, which is just coming up here. The geometry, the bumps just didn't quite feel right. They didn't quite translate one-to-one with what I knew from games like ACC, so not bad. Not bad, but some room for improvement. Again, the track looking very Spartan. Again, you're going to see the curbing on the outside here isn't quite what you might expect. One of the things updated on the new version was the curbing, as well as a bit of the geometry for accuracy, and of course, all new materials, which this has none of. Being some of the old ISI content. Funny to think that not that long ago this was actually the premiere content of the game. Alright, so that's that. Here we are in the brand new Silverstone. Now I've tried to match the time of day as closely as possible. You're going to see the shadows cast aren't quite right, but look at that detail in the pits immediately. The pit wall, the little stations there, the marshals on the side, all the detail inside the actual garages. This is like a whole new design. Looks a lot more sprightly and vibrant. It's one of the first things that stands out to me. And coming out, you can see the road texture detail has changed. Everything's a little bit lighter. You might think it's less rubbered in. I don't think it is. I rubbered both in for quite a while with time acceleration on. It's just the way that it's rendered looks a little bit different, a little bit less dark. Everything's a little more Disney, if you will. I'm finding myself able to take the curbs a little bit more in this car. I did have to raise the ride height just a bit so I don't bottom out in the middle of the car. Found this corner a little bit different. I'm not sure if it's just my imagination, but I struggled to take it as well as I normally would. Mind you, I haven't driven Silverstone in a while. Finding the ideal line a bit easier to adhere to for whatever reason. All much the same here. Same line, same muscle memory. Here's where the track detail makes it a little bit harder to see your markers until you get used to the new version, of course. Now Maggots and Beckett's being the big point of differentiation, just for some reason feels very different on this version. The line feels a lot closer to what I might take in ACC. You can see a lot more detail on the straight here. A lot of details on the side, little cars, of course the actual meter boards as well. Tense. I mean, the meter boards are very welcome. You can actually judge what you're doing now. But by far and large, the lines are pretty much the same, and my times are basically interchangeable. I mean, they're within a few tenths of each other. So that's the new Silverstone. Congratulations, Studio 397. Really good for a free update, and very much appreciated. What I'm going to do now is put up alongside each other 2 hot laps, one from each version of Silverstone, so you can actually see them right side by side and see quite viscerally what the differences are. I'm not going to comment this, it's just going to be, you know, for your enjoyment to see what the material updates have actually done to the track. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to smash that sub to stay up to date with future content. Not to mention that we've got the GTE balance of performance test coming up immediately after this. It was meant to be appended to this video, but it was just going to be way too long. So stay up to date with that. That'll be going up a day later at the very most. So until then, we'll see you guys next time.